This episode of the Burnout Recovery Podcast is brought to you by MEGA, your medical indemnity partner. Whether you're starting out in your career or have decades of experience, MEGA helps you thrive with support that goes beyond insurance. Enjoy travel benefits like complimentary travel insurance and Qantas points on your membership, plus education, medico-legal support, access to career coaching and wellbeing resources. Visit mega.com.au to learn more. Insurance issued by Medical Insurance Australia, which has not taken into account your objectives or situation. Before you make any decisions about our policies, please read our PDS and consider your needs. Call us for a copy or visit mega.com.au. Burnout isn't just exhaustion. It's carrying too much for too long. Heidi takes the administrative load off clinicians so you can focus on what matters, patient care. Recovery starts with removing what drains you. Try Heidi for free at heidihealth.com.
Welcome to the Burnout Recovery Podcast, a guiding resource dedicated to healthcare professionals on their journey to overcoming burnout. Spearheaded by Dr. Joe Braid, a certified professional coach and rehabilitation physician.
Welcome back to the Burnout Recovery Podcast. I'm Dr. Joe Braid, your host and medical doctor of over 20 years, keynote speaker and a professional coach for over 5 years, and I am someone who certainly understands the unique pressures we face as healthcare professionals and caring professionals. In this podcast episode, we're diving into something that affects nearly all of us in the digital age. We're talking about the comparison trap, social media and professional inadequacy. So we'll explore how social media can fuel imposter syndrome, why comparison becomes toxic, and most importantly, how you can define authentic success on your own terms. If you've ever scrolled through LinkedIn or Instagram and felt that familiar knot in your stomach, wondering if you're doing enough, achieving enough, or being enough, then this episode is for you. So let me share something vulnerable with you. 5 years ago, when I first started sharing about my coaching business online, I was absolutely terrified. Every post felt like I was exposing myself to judgment. I'd spent hours crafting the perfect caption, and then I'd immediately compare my content to other coaches and speakers who seemed so polished, so confident, so successful. It was the beginning of this journey, and there really wasn't a very big audience back then, but still my brain felt there was a big threat out there. And I remember one evening scrolling through social media after a day in clinic, and I saw a colleague posting about their latest research publication, another person sharing photos from an international conference, and a coach I followed celebrating a 6-figure launch. Meanwhile, I was sitting at home in my PJs, really wondering whether I had anything valuable to offer at all. Ever sound familiar? The comparisons trap nearly stopped me from sharing my message entirely. And the irony, I was helping healthcare professionals recover from burnout while simultaneously exhausting myself trying to measure up to everyone else's highlight reel. And what I've learned over these past 5 years, and what's made sharing so much easier, is that this struggle with comparison and professional inadequacy isn't a character flaw. It's a predictable response to an environment that constantly asks us to perform our worth publicly. The breakthrough came when I started working on 3 key areas: my self-concept, building trust in my own expertise, aka having your own back, and getting support. And getting support has been a multitude of different ways. I've always had a coach, I've had mentors, and more recently, I've hired a social media manager who really helps me focus on my message rather than the metrics. It's definitely become easier with time, but it really required intentional work on my part. So let's go through a bit of the research behind this. The neuroscience of comparison and why it's such a significant burnout trigger is because when we engage in social comparison, our brains activate that same threat detection system that responds to physical danger. So your amygdala can't tell the difference between seeing somebody talking about their promotion and facing a genuine threat to your survival. So that's why that knot in your stomach feels so real when you're scrolling through social media, because to your nervous system, it is real. Your brain's trying to protect you from what it perceives as social rejection. And this could also be felt like professional failure. And that stress response is identical to what you'd experience in a genuinely dangerous situation. And we know that historically social rejection was incredibly dangerous in the way back time, because if you weren't in with the tribe and you weren't near, I guess, heat and food and safety, then that was really very dangerous for you. How this can be particularly problematic for healthcare professionals is that we're already operating with heightened stress responses from our work environments. When we add social media comparison on top of that, we are essentially layering additional stress triggers onto an already overwhelmed nervous system. And the research shows that passive social media consumption, so that's scrolling without engaging, combined with upward social comparison, creates what researchers call compare and despair cycles. So we see other people's highlight reels and compare them to our behind-the-scenes reality. And this pattern can become a chronic stressor that contributes directly to burnout symptoms. So think about it this way. If you're already feeling emotionally exhausted from work, and then you spend your downtime consuming content that makes you feel professionally inadequate, you're never actually getting the mental rest and recovery your nervous system needs. Instead of social media being a break from stress, it becomes another source of it. And understanding this connection between comparison and burnout is crucial because it helps us recognize that feeling triggered by social media isn't a personal weakness. It's a predictable physiological response that we can learn to manage. So let's talk about practical strategies that actually work. So I'm going to share tools from my sleep, support, mindset, and movement framework, plus a specific technique for navigating social media more intentionally. So your comparison brain is strongest when you're tired. And you might have learnt this the hard way during late night scrolling sessions. So now think about what boundary you want to have in the evenings, i.e. maybe no social media after 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. depends what time your bedtime is. Because when you're well rested, you're better equipped to engage with social media from a place of curiosity rather than comparison. How about your support system? I created what I called a reality check circle. So 3 trusted colleagues who know my work really well. When imposter syndrome hits after seeing someone else's success, I can reach out to one of these friends. And they can remind me of my own impact and achievements. And also hiring my social media manager has helped so much with content creation and getting my message out there without doubting myself that this is valuable or going to help somebody. Thirdly, mindset shifts. I developed what I call curiosity over comparison practice. When I see something that triggers that inadequacy feeling, instead of thinking, I should be doing that, I ask, what can I learn from this? Or how does this inspire my own unique approach? We're all different. We're all amazing individuals on this planet, and you have got your own way of doing you. And this simple reframe moves you from scarcity thinking to growth mindset. Movement, so physical movement, helps reset your nervous system after comparison triggers. Think about what works for you. Is it 5 minutes of walking or stretching or deep breathing? And then you can check out the social media accounts that you're following and do an authenticity audit. Ask yourself, am I following accounts that inspire and educate me? Or am I consuming content that consistently makes me feel inadequate about my career, my achievements, or my life? And this isn't about unfollowing everyone who's successful. Maybe it's about recognizing which accounts trigger that toxic comparison feeling. Unfollow accounts that consistently make you question your worth and instead follow accounts that remind you of your own strengths and possibilities. So, thinking about what you might want to do this week, do that authenticity audit I just talked you through. Go through your feeds and identify 3 accounts that consistently make you feel inadequate or trigger comparison. Unfollow them. Then find 3 accounts that inspire you, teach you something valuable, or make you feel more connected to your professional community. Follow those instead. And here's some reflective questions for you. When do I most often fall into the comparison trap, and what triggers this for me? What aspects of my career and life am I most proud of when I'm not comparing myself to others? And how can I define professional success in a way that's authentic to my values and circumstances? So I invite you to share your insights with one trusted colleague this week. Sometimes saying out loud our comparison struggles helps us realize how universal and normal they are. Remember, you're not alone in this journey. If you're looking for a community of healthcare professionals who understand these challenges, I'd love to have you join us in the Healthcare Leadership Hub on School, where we support each other in creating sustainable, fulfilling careers without the comparison trap. Until next week, be gentle with yourself. Your worth certainly isn't measured by your social media presence. It's demonstrated every day in the lives you touch and the care you provide. Thanks so much for listening, and I'll see you again next week. Ready to take the next step in your burnout recovery journey? Visit drjoebraid.com for free resources, all 150 plus podcast episodes, and information about my keynote speaking. Links are in the show notes. Your well-being matters. Protect the asset that is you. If you're a clinician trying to protect your energy this year, hear this. We all know how the invisible work drains us. Those endless notes, follow-ups, and admin tasks that happen after every patient leaves. That's where Heidi comes in, an AI care partner that quietly handles the documentation while you stay focused on what matters, patient care. It's not another system to learn. It's support that actually reduces your cognitive load. Try Heidi for free today at HeidiHealth.com. Be your best you. Rely on MEGA for your protection and support, serving doctors for over 125 years through insurance, education, medical legal advice, and member benefits designed to help you thrive and succeed. Insurance issued by Medical Insurance Australia, which has not taken into account your objectives or situation. Before you make any decisions about our policies, please read our PDS and consider your needs. Call us for a copy or visit mega.com.au.